Alright guys, today we're taking a look at Teen Titans Go. Let's talk about it, I guess. I'm sure that most of the people watching have probably heard of this series and the large amount of hate that it has garnered. In fact, I'm sure that some of you have seen the show for yourself and have formed an opinion of it. If you're wondering what my opinions are, I'm going to be blunt. I do not like this show. In fact, I find it rather insulting to the original. That latter reason is probably why this show was difficult for me to critique at first. It was hard to tell whether my dislike for Teen Titans Go was due to my love of Teen Titans. That being said, the episode I'm looking at today is a parody of Nevermore, the last thing I reviewed, so I will have to compare the two in terms of plotline. However, everything else will be judged solely on their own merits. No exaggeration, no holding punches. With that out of the way, let's take a look at Colors of Raven. The episode begins at the Jump City Museum, when it suddenly explodes. We see that Dr. Light is stealing a mysterious prism. I just gotta say, I love how they have these weird text cut-ins for character introduction. That totally doesn't look lazy at all. We cut to the Titans in a battle plane.
Okay, Titans, to take down Dr. Light, I'm gonna need your best. Your best one-liners.
You know, it's always a great sign when the first joke of an episode is so mind-blowingly stupid that I already want to shut it off. Beast Boy, Cyborg, and Starfire all jump out and deliver some of the lamest one-liners I've ever heard, before attempting to attack Dr. Light. Okay, serious question, is this meant to be a comedy scene or an action scene? I honestly can't tell which, because the episode feels like it's trying to do both at the same time. Yes, I have said that the original Teen Titans balanced comedy with action, but the writers of that show knew never to do both at the same time. Doing comedy and action at the same time doesn't work because it creates an uncomfortable cognitive dissonance. This is not a comparison to the original show, it's a statement of fact. Of course, the comedy and action in this scene don't work either way. The action fails because the characters all basically bounce off of Dr. Light. No one's exerting themselves or acting like they're putting in any effort at all. As a result, there's no sense of drama or suspense. The comedy fails because these one-liners are some of the most obvious and stupid puns I've ever heard. In fact, Beast Boy and Cyborg basically used the exact same pun. After the other Titans prove their complete incompetence, Raven defeats Dr. Light in the most anticlimactic way possible. Was there a point to any of that? In the original, this scene established part of the future conflict, but here the only thing it does is establish the prism thing. And the scene makes no indication that the prism is a plot device. As a result, the whole thing feels entirely pointless. The Titans return to the tower and wonder what to do with the prism. When Raven says that they probably shouldn't mess with it, the others start tossing it around. Then they tell Raven that she needs to calm down even though she is clearly not angry. Hey, it's sort of like in Nevermore, when Beast Boy had trouble reading Raven's emotions. Except in that episode, he had trouble due to her complex personality. Whereas in this episode, it's because everyone's a complete dunce. Yeah, the Titans in this show are incredibly stupid, annoying as hell, and entirely one-dimensional. Starfire acts like a flanderized stereotype of a valley girl, Robin is an insufferable idiot, and Beast Boy and Cyborg are absolute jackasses. The only one who is even remotely tolerable is Raven, but even she has such a flat personality that I can't stand her. Here's what I'm getting at. Characters are one of the most important parts of a story, because their actions form the basis of the plot. This means that if your characters are annoying and unpleasant, your story will also be annoying and unpleasant. This is a basic aspect of writing. After some more failed attempts at humor, the prism starts glowing. It gets tossed to Raven and absorbs her before shattering on the floor. This, somehow, splits Raven into 5 versions of herself.
Oh no! We just split Raven into 4 versions of herself!
Okay, let's ask ourselves why that joke wasn't funny. When we figure that out, we'll see why nearly every attempt at humor in this thing fails horribly. Beast Boy has been acting stupid this whole episode. The comment he just made does nothing but further indicate his lack of intelligence. The obvious reason for him to say something like that is because he has made a stupid assumption.
0, 1, 2...
You don't start at 0 when you count.
Really?
And the joke is that Beast Boy is an idiot. Not only is this joke extremely predictable, but it also demonstrates the formula that nearly every gag follows in this show. Character is stupid and or incompetent. Writer points it out. Laugh, damn it! Wash, rinse, repeat. What they clearly fail to understand is that you need some sort of surprise in order for there to be comedy, and repeating the same joke ad nauseum makes it impossible for there to be any surprise. All 5 of the Ravens react to being freed in annoyingly exaggerated ways. Then the other Titans make one of the most contrived leaps of logic I have ever seen.
It seems the prism has divided Raven into the 5 core parts of her personality. Purple is her passion.
Red is her rage.
Pink, her happiness. Orange, her laziness.
And gray is her timidity.
First, you have only been in contact with these Ravens for 45 seconds. There is no way you can come to that conclusion so quickly. Second, the episode hasn't actually established that any of these traits are actually part of Raven's persona. In fact, it hasn't shown us very much about her persona at all. It's telling us this, but it's not bothering to show us. Yes, Raven's character was thoroughly explored in the original show. That doesn't excuse them from giving us some information about it here. This is a failure of basic storytelling. I expect to see this sort of thing in bad fan fiction, not a televised series.
Well, at least now we know what the Ravens are thinking.
Did they really just throw out the main conflict from the original episode? That's not how you do parody! Later on the couch, we get a pointless scene that probably could have been cut from the episode altogether. There is one joke that works, but the rest adds absolutely nothing to the plot. The next day, the Titans eat breakfast. After some more failed attempts at humor, Robin gets an emergency call and orders the Titans into battle. However, they are unable to attack the monster that's destroying the city because the Ravens are interfering. Once again, the joke fails here because it's incredibly predictable. The Ravens are performing the exact same exaggerated actions that they did earlier. There needs to be some variety to these gags, but the episode seems incapable of this. Back at the tower, Robin decides that the Ravens are more trouble than they're worth.
Since the prism split them up, we should be able to use the crystals to trap the Ravens and put them back together.
Congratulations, episode! You have just repeatedly broken one of the most important rules of writing. Show, don't tell! When you have something that is this obviously a major plot point, you need to give the audience some evidence towards its validity. Just telling the audience and hoping that they go along with it is one of the most basic mistakes an author can make. I had this problem in stories I wrote when I was 9. The other Ravens break in and decide that they don't want to be recombined with each other. Ignoring the fact that that makes no sense, does the episode actually think that the point of Nevermore was to have multiple Ravens? Really? Look, it's one thing if Teen Titans Go wants to do parody, but they can't even bother to do parody correctly. The Ravens leave the tower and scatter throughout the city. After some jokes that go nowhere, the other Titans split up to find them. At this point, the episode cuts back and forth from Robin and Starfire to Beast Boy and Cyborg. The segments with Robin and Starfire are boring and predictable, so I'm just going to glance over them. However, the segments with Beast Boy and Cyborg are something that I can't really do justice.
Pink, we missed you!
I missed you too! Let's have fun!
I'm going to be honest, this scene is amazing. Because it's so over the top, it subverts expectations and is able to get a laugh. It's a shame none of the other jokes were this entertaining.
Ooh, shiny!
And that's disgusting. A little while later, the Titans return to the tower, but they are still unable to locate the last Raven. It turns out that she was on the couch the whole time. Ha ha, that's not funny in the slightest. They trap her in the crystal and recombine the shards, making Raven whole again. When she tries to thank them, the other Titans are once again confused about her delivery and start whining. And that was Colors of Raven.
Who knew that under that dark cape and darker scowl, that a mix of happy, scared, loving, angry, lazy emotions exist?
What the hell was that? Was the episode 10 seconds too short or something? There was no reason for that. As I was saying, that was Colors of Raven, A parody that doesn't know how to be funny in the slightest. It's insulting to the original and bad on its own. But more than anything, I find myself extremely disappointed by it. Call me crazy, but I actually think turning Teen Titans into a purely humorous series is an idea that has merit. The original show knew how to be funny, and while it wasn't a comedy by any stretch, they did have some episodes which were entirely comedic. They knew how to tell a story with their jokes, they knew how to make characters play off of each other, and they knew that you need funny characters in order to be funny. Basically, they did everything that Teen Titans Go fails at. This episode shows no comprehension of the basic rules of storytelling. The humor is repetitive and lazy, the characters are annoying and stupid, the episode can't even bother to understand what it's trying to parody. Except for one or two jokes, there's nothing remotely entertaining. It's just an intolerable mess. Colors of Raven gets 1 out of 4 stars from me. I'd say just skip this episode and watch the original. So, what do we have planned for my next review? Oh, son of a